In this video, we're going to talk about equations of lines and transformations. So our first question says, a line passes through the points -3, -2, and 9, 2. The first thing it asks us to do is to calculate the slope. So we reviewed that yesterday. Slope and rate of change are the same thing. We calculate slope by doing delta y over delta x. Delta y is the change in our y value, delta x is the change in our x value. Now to get those changes, there are two things you can do. You can either make a table and then calculate the differences, or you can use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I think I am going to make a table and then calculate the differences. So I'm going to take each point. Every point has an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So I'm going to write -3, -2 underneath. So side by side we have -3, and then in the y column -2. And then we're going to take the point 9 and 2. We're going to put 9 under the x and 2 under the y. Once I have them stacked like that, I'm going to try to figure out what did we do to turn that -3 into a 9, and then what did I do to turn that -2 into a 2. So to get from -3 to 9, I definitely had to add something because 9 is bigger than -3. Maybe you can figure that out in your head, but if not, you can use your calculator by taking the second number, 9, and then subtracting the first number, which is -3. Remember, you're not using the subtract button to make it negative, you're using that negative button to make it negative. And I end up with 12. I had to add 12 to get from -3 to +9. To get from -2 to +2, right, you could think it out, how am I getting there? Or you can take the second number 2 and then subtract the first number, which is -2, to get that we added 4. Now, delta y is on the y side, so that's our +4. Delta x is the difference on our x side, so that's the +12. So when I go to calculate my slope, which is delta y over delta x, I'm doing +4 divided by +12. Now, 4 does not divide evenly by 12, I get a decimal. And we don't want to use a decimal here. We would like it to either be a whole number or a fraction. So what I would try to do is see if I can think of something that would divide into both 4 and 12 to make those numbers a little smaller. Using your multiplication grid will help you, but I don't have my grid with me. So I know that 4 and 12 both divide by 4. So I can divide the top number by 4, and I can divide the bottom number by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So my slope for this line is 1/3. Okay, our next step is to calculate the y-intercept. So we talked about this last week. When we calculate y-intercept, we take the formula for the line, y equals mx plus b, and we put all the things in that we know. So I now know the slope because we just calculated that. And then I have two different points that I can choose from for x and y. So you can either choose -3, -2, or 9 and 2. I would prefer to use 9 and 2 because they're positive, but if you would like to use the negatives, that's fine. Every point has an x value and a y value. So my x is going to be 9 and my y is going to be 2. So I'm going to take y equals mx plus b. For y, we're putting in the number 2. For m, we're putting in our slope that we just found, which is 1/3. For x, I'm putting in 9, so times 9, and then plus b. All right, from here we would need to calculate 1 divided by 3 times 9. So 1 divided by 3 times 9 is 3 plus b. Now, if you feel comfortable solving this equation with b on this side, that's fine. But if you are not comfortable, you can trade the sides. So we can put the 3 plus b on this side and the 2 on that side. And if I'm going to bring the 3 plus b over to this side, I'd like the b to go first. So since the b is positive, I'm going to write positive b. The 3 is also positive, so plus 3. And then I'm going to move that 2 to the other side. From here, in order to solve for b, I would subtract 3 from both sides. So we're going to get that b is 2 take away 3. You can do that on your calculator, or when the signs are different, we subtract. So 2 take away 3 is going to give us -1. So my y-intercept is -1. Okay, part C asks us to state the equation. So when we're doing the equation of a line, we are using y equals mx plus b. But in order for it to be an equation, it needs to keep the letters for x and y, but it wants numbers for m and b. So we are going to put in the slope that we calculated. We are going to put in the y-intercept that we calculated. So we are going to end up getting y equals m, that's my slope, so it's 1/3. And then x, I want to have the x and the y. I do not want to put numbers there. And then my slope, I can do plus -1 or just -1. So my equation is y equals 1/3 x take away 1. Okay, I will see you in the next video to do the next part of this question.